Hola from Lisbon in Portugal, and a very warm welcome to Pro-Am Day here in the 2011-2012 Volvo Ocean Race. We're going into race 3 shortly. We've seen 2. First one was won by Puma, second one was won by Camper with Emirates Team New Zealand, and we're looking back up the River Tagus, and that was Camper steaming away in a great breeze. With me in the commentary box we've got Mark Covell. And Mark, this has been a lovely, lively day already, and I can see no reason not to expect more of the same.
Well, they're having an absolutely fantastic day out on the water, enjoying the guests, getting a chance to sail with the pros. And the sun is shining and the wind is up, and it's quite a varied course as well. It's the wind is slightly across the river, and it's a reach out to the mark on the top left corner of the screen. You can see the wind coming off. And there's a little bit of variation across the course as well, a little bit more breeze up on that top mark. So it's keeping clear air and, of course, that essential start.
Looking to virtual eye for this graphic. The white line is your start, the yellow little mark at the top is the top mark, the turning point. 2 laps. We had 1.2 miles for the first course. I suspect it might be something similar for this, and we're on board now with Camper, and you can see the guests having a bit of a grind here at the front of the picture here. And this is a great thing for the guests, is that we talk about bragging rights. That's to do with the result in part, but also you know, this is the chance to say, I have raced on one of these boats and they are amazing. And Mark, when you've been out there on the racetrack with these people, wait a minute, we're straight into a start. No, 10 minutes to the start. I was just hearing all that noise in the background off the committee boat. Mark, when you've had guests on the boat, when you've been doing the Volvo Ocean Race, what have you enjoyed about the experience, and what do you try and make the experience like for them?
Well, you don't have to try very hard, because the first thing that will come across to the guys on board is just exactly how loud it all is, and how cool and calm the crew are. They're very well-oiled crews by now.
Well, they're kind of oblivious, aren't they? Because I think the noise, when you let the sheets go, and the creaking and grinding and the banging. I mean, it's, you know, for somebody who doesn't know, it's pretty frightening.
Well, when you first of all, as the tension comes on to the sheets and the sails start coming in, you can hear the loads picking up and slipping on the winch. And then the first time you bear away, the noise is incredible. And of course, these carbon boats are like drums, with everything just as tight across the skin of the boats. And you can hear now the few creaks and groans. There we go. And that is, of course, amplified when you're down below. And think of the poor guys trying to get some sleep out on the ocean as well.
I think the reason they do sleep is that they're so absolutely knackered that they have no choice.
Absolutely.
But talking about the noise, do you kind of begin to differentiate? I mean, at first all the bangs are frightening because you think that something's gone and exploded, because it is an explosive noise, but you kind of begin to filter out which matter?
Absolutely. You do have this sort of second sense of knowing exactly how the rhythm of the boat. And when you're sleeping in the bunk, you can actually feel when a different helmsman takes over. They have a slightly different style of sailing, how aggressive they are down the sail, exactly when they turn back up the wave, when they're surfing. So you can definitely tell who's on the helm.
And are some more conducive to a pleasant sleep than others?
Absolutely. The old school like to glide and ride, and the young, because I remember sailing with the young 49er sailor, Rodian, and you know, he really did throw the thing round like a little 49 as well.
And funnily enough, in a kind of way, these boats invite that, because I remember the first time I went on one of them, what really staggered me, and you talking about, you know, when you bear away, was, I mean, the acceleration knocked me off my feet, literally, because I'd never been on a boat other than the speedboat, never been on a sailboat that would accelerate like that.
Well, the reason that is because you bear away onto that levered keel that is out. There's as the power comes on, there's nowhere to go but just jets the boat forward, and that, you know, it's certainly exciting and to hold on. And these guys aren't even being doused with the waves that normally come down across the boat that try to sweep you off your feet. 7 minutes to go.
Ian Walker at the helm of Abu Dhabi Ocean Racing. They did, of course, They were first boat in here after sailing a brilliant race from Miami across the Atlantic, threading their way through some hideously complex weather situations, getting a big lead and then managing to stave off the attack from our overall race leader Groupama, who came in second to take the lead from Telefonica. And Ian Walker, a teammate of Mark Cavell when they won silver at the Olympics in Sydney in 2012 years ago. Mark, ooh,
it does seem a long time ago.
When you're having a good time, eh?
Well, no, I missed those days on the Star, but no, Ian has put a great leg together, and you know, he hasn't had the momentum that other teams have enjoyed. And they had a great night last night. Their media crew member Nick Dana won the Inmarsat Media Crew Award, which was a great accolade for his hard work, bringing back these incredible images that we see and enjoy from offshore. And of course, everything brought back by that incredible setup on the back of the boat, the Inmarsat Fleet 500.
Okay, now that's just I think you can almost see just at the back there. It is the Inmarsat Sailor. Give me my favourite statistic about how far the signal travels and how it goes up to something whizzing around the Earth and then comes flashing back in something incredible.
It's around about less than a second. It goes about a third of the way to the moon and back. And no, it is an incredible thing. And of course it's changed the way we view the race and understand the race, to actually have, when Nick Dana was live on board, Ricky Depp from Volvo HQ was interviewing him as they were finishing. That was incredible footage. Middle of the night with night vision, talking, hushed breath, where are you? And you could see in the background the lights of Groupama catching them, and then the relief when they crossed the line. And the last second when they were coming up to the line, they still hadn't actually identified the outer distance mark. So you could actually see the hurried, like, where is it? And torches and crew ran to the bow. And that was all being beamed live for the viewers to see.
Well, I have to say, we've done similar stuff down in New Zealand where we had the same situation. We were linking into Alicante, to the race headquarters in Alicante, and we were on board with Camper with Emirates Team New Zealand doing an interview with Chris Nicholson coming through the Southern Ocean, which was, I think people finally began to understand that these were live pictures coming through the most inhospitable waters. You're near the furthest place, most isolated place known to man. In fact, I think the satellite you're talking to is closer to people than that spot. And here we are watching it live, and people gradually are beginning to understand what it's about, and that from the comfort of their living rooms they're looking at these guys absolutely, you know, in the Southern Ocean of all places, waves washing over the boat, and it's just, I think it's, you know, a new level. It is taking it to a new level, and we'll talk in a minute, I'm sure, about the further levels that we're going to get to. We're on board now. This is the Volvo Ocean Race. This is Pro-Am Race Day. We're here in Lisbon, this fantastic historical city steeped in maritime history. We'll talk more about that over the next few days, I'm sure. Telefonica, second day of rule at the moment. They've run this race, they've led this race for, well, until the last leg. They have just been the indisputed overall race leaders. They slipped up a couple of times in the import races, and that's cost them dear, and it's now Groupama that leads. So we're 3 minutes from the start. Mark, from the start of the second race that we watched and broadcast, what did you learn as a racing yachtsman from what they did in that start, that we might see something different this time?
Well, it's about time and distance. It's timing your run to hit the line and be going as fast as you can when the gun goes. And if you're too late, you often get covered by the other boats and the turbulent air, and it's very difficult to come off the line cleanly. If you're too early, you run into the problem that Sanya had in that race too, where they were actually over the line.
And in conditions like this, just so hard to come back.
The course is so short, and the first line is the first mark it comes very quickly, and there are just so few passing lanes, so it's all about the time and distance, and this start that we're watching today is going to be relevant to the start tomorrow. It's great practice for the teams.
Practice, practice, practice. What are the 5 P's? Prior preparation prevents poor performance, with a few other P's thrown in sometimes. So that's what it's all about, and at the same time as that they're learning, they are also teaching their guests about what it means to be on one of these greyhounds of the ocean. And that's the media man Diego there on Telefonica at the back. He's taking pictures of the guests, which will be a real lovely memento from where they go. Minute 30 now to the start as we look with virtual eye.
Looks to me, Martin, that the breeze is down a little bit at the moment. The breeze does pulse up and down, and just seeing a little less whitecaps on the water there, but there's enough still to start positioning their boats and throw them around with 1:10 to go. And I think the seat that you want to be sat in is as close to the line, going as fast as you can, and to the right. I would fancy the boats coming out from the right-hand corner.
Now, Camper had a bit of a slingshot in the first race, so they're going to time it right this time round. Looking sharp with Puma. They're up to speed at the moment on Camper, but they're going to just climb up a bit, shed a bit more of that. There's Sanya holding itself back. They don't want to be early again like they were in in the second race that we just watched, where they were over early. Camper with Emmett Stevens and Chris Nicholson up at the top there, looking to be exactly where you said, along with Abu Dhabi, and these three now looking in a really nice spot, Mark.
Oh, with 23 seconds to go, it is a dangerous position, because the boat to leeward can actually hold you up. That's shutting you out of the mark, and you can see the mark through there with 13 seconds to go, and it's about when you press that gun to go, and it looks like Group Armour is on the charge. There's the bowman waving them for. That's a clean line, and it's about momentum and speed off the line.
Individual recall, Camper and Puma. Well, it looked like they were a bit sharp. We could hear the horn go and then the blast to say individual recall. So they've got to turn round and come back. Well, I suppose this is good practice. And Group Armour as well.
Well, I didn't hear them call, but they've gone back. They must, and they certainly were more advanced. We saw that. We saw them further advanced there. So those three boats going back, and it looks like Telefonica is off.
Well, that's a bit of a shame, because this is going to make just half the fleet. I wonder what the story is with Sanya. I wonder why they were so late to the line. They must have had a problem. They certainly weren't going to be early, that's for sure. So now we've got these three yachts. There's Sanya just ahead. So what the issue was there must have been some kind of issue. Well, that's the race done, effectively, because there's just not the time for these boats, as Sanya proved last time around, to catch up. So it's going to be a race now between Abu Dhabi and Telefonica, and Telefonica did look to be pretty much launched off the line there.
Well, they chose to start down the line, and that was the most empty area of the line, so they could time their run up without any hindrance of the other boats. That's a pretty big manoeuvre the guys have had to do there.
Okay, and here's a replay, and there's the line, and we're looking to see, well, actually it was Group Armour who were first to be, then Group Armour, then Camper, then Puma, all early, and Telefonica is off and away. So those three boats in the middle have come back, and we're now with Group Armour up on the bow. Gorgeous sight. They are just absolutely ridiculous. So that'll have been a lesson learned, won't it? Because they'll put this one in the learning pouch for tomorrow.
Absolutely, and there's a bit of current pushing down the course there, and I wonder if that they overcompensated for the current there. That was a pretty big manoeuvre to come back, ease the sails, and the guests on board would see the sails coming coming back, and then it was time to pull them all in again.
Well, they'll have been getting a bit of work, and they'll have learned what the flavour of that is about. But there's the distance, there's the gap. The two race leaders way up in the distance ahead of Group Armour that we're tracking along with now. Virtual Eye telling us the story of the race. Abu Dhabi just still at the moment holding their own very nicely with Ian Walker in the just upwind, and I suppose are they in the advantage position at the moment, would you say? And Abu Dhabi does like it when it's flat and windy.
Absolutely, and it's going to be very difficult for his Group Armour, Telefonica, the shot down to leeward, and often those you can see that Abu Dhabi's gone very, very light. You can see the boats upright and almost leaning to windward. So let's just see where the pressure has gone. I said before the start the wind had started to drop, and so it really is a case of picking your way through the patch here. But it would be pretty difficult for Telefonica to come through the lead of Abu Dhabi.
A little bit more. Look at the bow, which has got more speed on now, Telefonica.
Well, Abu Dhabi really did fall into a light spot there, and it looks like Telefonica has actually got some clear air from round the bow. Yes, they are well and truly past, and now it's a case of coming into that top mark, and Telefonica is going to want to edge Abu Dhabi up. Now, but this might be a manoeuvre back, so if they've got to sail the proper course to the mark, and Abu Dhabi's going to stop them doing the big pre-turn that we saw. So now that they've broken the overlap, it's about Telefonica now is going to be forced to do the turn after the mark. Abu Dhabi wants to move up, and so when they come back out, they are tighter on the route back, and that might be the passing lane that Abu Dhabi's looking for.
Look how much harder pressed up they are. No, look, it's Telefonica clear now. Looks like this is Virtual Eye telling us. Look at the speed difference. I mean, that's 2 knots. I mean, that's just phenomenal. And here she comes, well, along with Group Armour, on their favourite point of sail. This boat is a rocket ship. And Ike Martinez has handed over the wheel. And one of the team members there enjoying a bit of a sail as Group Armour, as Abu Dhabi come charging round, hot in pursuit. But you'd have to say that you've got to like the look of Telefonica to enjoy roaming around this one.
Well, Telefonica did get that distance above the mark, and they are so much higher, and Abu Dhabi's turn was much wider. That means that they're going to just have to take their turn in behind. But as we look up to that windward mark, you can see that the breeze has dropped a little bit, but there's still pockets of breeze that have come down. And here we have Sanya really rocketing into that top mark in plenty of breeze.
And we don't know what went on here, because Sanya was so late to the start that they weren't that far, as you can see from here, they weren't that far in front of the people who had to come back. So there must have been an issue as we look at this distinctive bow of Campo with Emmett's team New Zealand ploughing around, and there's a bit of an issue here with Group Armour, and no, it's a little bit of optical illusion there as to what the issue might be. But here's Group Armour and Puma coming up to the mark, and Ken Reid just charges around. Whoa, duck, up and away. And Group Armour coming in, and it looked, again, it was an optical illusion, looked a lot closer than it was there. So Group Armour now on the charge, and there's the scoreboard for this third Pro-Am race of the day.
Well, that was quite an interesting passing manoeuvre. That was very unlucky there for Abu Dhabi to fall into that windless hole and let the Spanish sail through. It shows
how sensitive the boats can be, doesn't it? To that much, you know, to be that close to somebody else and have that much of a little wind effect.
And there was nothing they could do about it. They tried to put the bow down, but the blue boat just romped through to leeward.
As it does. It's a very, very quick boat, Telefonica, we know that. And we're enjoying now watching them look and learn as they head down 2 laps of this course. We're on leg 2, and they'll come down to the bottom here where they've got a gate to choose from. They can go left or right, 2 buoys, and they will, of course, the lead boat will take the option that is the shortest distance back to the top mark. but then sometimes you can ring the changes. That's the aim of the gate.
Absolutely. You find that it can get quite processional, and the advantage of going to that other gate, it means that they can find another route.
Now look. Is this a bit of a move coming now?
Well, it's going lighter here, and Abu Dhabi are starting to work up. What they're looking to do is work up onto their line and try to steal a little bit of breeze, and then when they do get hit by a puff, then drive down. And it'll be interesting to see as they come down into this little less breeze down at the bottom of the course, whether Abu Dhabi can bring a little bit of puff down, which they're doing now. You can see that.
Well, we look at the bow waves, and we look at the bow waves as a bit of a gauge as to who's got the most pace on. And it's a fascinating little duel here. Now, this is the camera working the other way, I suspect, because it's making Abu Dhabi probably look a little bit further away than it actually is. Well, but I'm just going to say that I was cheating there looking at the virtual screen, and Telefonica still got that click more. Oh, it's up and down, so maybe maybe Abu Dhabi might find a little something, but as soon as they get a sniff of breeze on Telefonica, they are away. But again, look at the bows. Look at Camper in the background. Mind you, she does shoulder a lot of water on that bow, more so than the other boats.
Well, there's a lot of people looking behind them, looking at Abu Dhabi on board Telefonica, which shows exactly how nervous they are. And I call this pouncing distance. If you get a boat on your shoulder, and it makes this manoeuvre around the next mark even more important, because all Abu Dhabi needs is a little bit of a half a boat advantage. Just snap that sail in a bit faster. And as Telefonica enjoying a little bit of pressure now as they roll away from Abu Dhabi a little bit. And now Telefonica are going to want to try to sneak as much sail in before the mark, and they're going to come up. Now you can see them trimming on. And it looks like Abu Dhabi will just tuck inside there. Here comes the trim, the grinder's going, the guests grinding as hard as they can, the boat heeling over. Here comes the pressure, and into a big tack. Keel swings over. Nice tack there. So now that's probably about a boat and a half length lead, and it's now how well will that manoeuvre go on for Abu Dhabi. Slightly calmer, smoother tack there as the sail comes through. It's all about getting it on. Nice snap there, getting it in nice and quickly. So nice manoeuvre there as the bow comes off. And now
the boats have made some inroads from the back. The boats that were over early. I mean, the Sanya still just hanging on to third spot, and they were very, very late to the start. And I was really enjoying that when we come back to that camera angle off Telefonica, which was showing the fleet behind. But now we've got Puma Ocean Racing, powered by Berg. Henry brings himself round fifth spot, and there's just Group Armour there to bring up the rear now. And the fleet's compressed a little bit here at the halfway stage of race 3.
Well, they're coming up the course in fairly light breeze, but what you can see on the water there is a lot more breeze ahead, and Telefonica will get to that pressure. That is really quite
a marked
line, and you can see how light it is for Group Armour back in the light breeze, and we'll start to see the boats up ahead start to heel over and accelerate and start to pull away. So the elastic band stretches out again.
Well, we have a phrase for it. It's called the rich getting richer, because when you're poking your nose into the breeze as the leader and you're first into that fresh breeze, you just begin to rocket away, looking back down towards Lisbon, and the bridge of the 25th of April is the name of that bridge in the background there, built by the same people not who built the Golden Gate Bridge, but who built the other main bridge in San Francisco. But that is more of that later. On board now with Abu Dhabi Ocean Racing, trying to make inroads on Telefonica. But you have to say that when you see a boat like Telefonica get its nose in front and is first into the breeze, you can chase as hard as you like, but it's a touch of the waving the white flag.
That's right. They're just doing a nice job of. And they'll have those sailors up there will have a great view down onto the course.
This is a beautiful tall ship. We're trying to find out a little bit more about it. We've been watching it moving around and about, so if anybody would like to send us in an email with a bit more information about it, that we can let people know what it's about, because it's a gorgeous looking ship. She was the Sagres, I think it was called, that boat. We're learning more and more by the minute, and that will be part of the fantastic maritime heritage that we talk about here in Lisbon in Portugal. In the centre of your picture, Adil Khalid, young 23-year-old, the first Emirati in the United Arab Emirates to sail in the Volvo Ocean Race, and he'll have had the experience of a lifetime. He's been blooded through the Southern Ocean, and that's a big feather in anybody's cap. Mark, you've done it.
Well, it was Ian who said this last leg he really came of age on the boat. He's now considered no longer a trainee, a full-blooded and expert sailor now on board, and that's a great training ground for him.
It's a great accolade as well.
Gone from lasers to
laser dinghies.
70s.
Well, I mean, they've had their moments as well, because I mean, the most appropriate, the best thing they could possibly have done on Abu Dhabi Ocean Racing was to have won the import race in Abu Dhabi, which they did in some style, and that was a great moment for Adil Khalid to sailing. But that was before the what is the word? The horrors? I don't know. The incredible experience of the Southern Ocean, which has clearly blooded him now. On board with Camper. The guests being given a bit of a workout there. Good to watch.
Now, as well as the overall trophy, the Volvo Ocean Race outright, there's a trophy for the leader of the imports throughout the event, and I believe we'll certainly have to get the results of that up for you tomorrow. But it's pretty tight at the top as well, with Abu Dhabi doing very well. I think they're tied with 3 boats for that overall import trophy.
Well, those import races have proved to be, you know, just such a vital part of this race in terms of the point scoring. And we still think there is still a very distinct possibility this race could be decided by the import race in Galway, which would be an astonishing finale to this astonishing race. On board with Telefonica as the race leader in this 3rd Pro-Am race of the day here in Lisbon. They come flying around the mark, followed by Abu Dhabi Ocean Racing, and they're on now the run for home. And looked like a man in a suit walking across there. That was a bold move on one of these boats. And here's Sanya just managing to cling on to 3rd spot, being hotly pursued by Camper with Emirates Team New Zealand, and then Puma Ocean Racing following. Lovely shot now from our camera on board one of the ribs, rigid inflatable boat sitting by the mark there as Puma races around, and that little knot of 4 now led by Ike Martinez on Telefonica, and it's hard to see him being caught on this last stretch. So bragging rights on his way, and something for the guests on board to really savour. Puma is round, and there's just our overall race leader Rupama to come round. They haven't had the best of races today, but as you say, Mark, this is all knowledge in the bank for tomorrow.
Absolutely, they'll be learning and acclimating to the course, and they would have learned that there's a bit more breeze at the top, that the current is still a massive effect, certainly on the start lines. The course will be too short to risk being over the line, and they will just be looking at how aggressive they will choose to be, whether they're going to look for a fairly passive approach for tomorrow, or really go for the kill. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out fighting.
We talk about things like the rich getting richer, and risk and reward is the other issue here, isn't it? Because you know, you can the risk can be just, if you get it right, the reward can be huge, but then so can the punishment if you get it wrong.
You've got to remember that these boats are not set up for this close hand racing, and look, the breeze is really in now. This is the boats now as they come down on this last leg back down to the finish. They're really romping. Lovely shot.
Oh, they're just such dynamic boats. It's quite funny because we were watching a race start a few days ago down in New Zealand, and Steinlager 2, the only yachts so far to have won every leg of one of these Volvo Ocean races, is back in New Zealand now. We're starting off on this race, and we were saying that, you know, she used to look like an enormous boat, bulletproof, massive, and she looked, compared with these boats, she looked fragile.
Yeah, well, these boats just get, even though they've had a lot of problems throughout this race, they are getting stronger and more powerful. I think power
it's the power. The width and the power is just absolutely extraordinary, because, you know, you think of those displacement boats in the water that they were having to shove out the way, that these ones ride on.
So you can still see how varied the wind is across. You've got Telefonica in front of shot here, which is really charging, and then Puma back there in a lot less breeze. So for me, this course is really showing a lot of passing lanes for tomorrow racing.
And tomorrow's race, of course, will be an awful lot longer. If the wind's right, there's talk of maybe trying to finish the race right outside, right off the city centre of Lisbon, on the other side of the bridge. So we'll see how that pans out with the weather and the distance. But there will be a lot more passing opportunities just by virtue of the distance. And this is the finish of race 3 of the Pro-Am race day here in Lisbon. Yep, this is the big cheer on board, and this might be Pro-Am race with amateurs on it, but you can see, as we said at the very beginning of this broadcast, it's all about the competitive juices flowing, and flying. Here's Abu Dhabi, absolutely flying across in second spot. And that's another nice little... they'll have enjoyed that very much. Ian Walker and his crew on Determined, on Azam, Abu Dhabi Ocean Racing. Sanya sneaker third, by virtue of the fact that the other 3 boats in the fleet all started early, and we should see the red bow of Camper with Emirates Team New Zealand sliding across the line to take 4th spot. Again, some pace as they conclude here. Grant Dalton in the middle there, having a bit of a sage nod about what has been going on, as we get Puma Ocean Racing powered by Berg. There in 5th spot, bringing up the rear, is Group Armour. This is the finish line here, and we're expecting a green bow to come slotting through quite close to that outer distance marker. Long way back, Group Armour. I think they might have just sort of given up a little bit towards the end, because they crossed the line. It just looked fast. It just looks fast. That's because it is our overall race leader.
Well, that was an interesting day. I mean, it's another advantage for these opportunities for these guys to sail on the course. Much will be learnt. They'll go into their briefings this evening. And to me, I think the most important thing for the teams to decide amongst them is exactly how punchy, how aggressive they're going to be on the line tomorrow. It'll be a very conscious decision from the team decided this evening. And
that's what we've just been talking about. It's going to be risk and reward. What are they prepared to risk for what reward? Because, you know, as we're saying, the points are just so tight. But if you get, would they sort of weigh up the consequences of getting it wrong when you're measuring risk and reward? You'd have to.
Well, it's going to be a mode that they're going to go out into. I mean, you look at that, compare it with the first import race way back in Alicante. They'd be thinking about, let's just get off the line, let's just keep it clean, let's not damage the boat.
And with Telefonica in particular, you'd also be thinking, I mean, here they are, they've come last in the last 2 import races by virtue of quite extraordinary errors. I mean, in Itajaí in Brazil, they turned left early at the wrong mark and went from first to last. In the last race in Miami, they hit the buoy. They hit one of the buoys, had to do a penalty turn, went, I think they were from second to last. And that's really cost them the lead. as overall race leader. You can't believe they could make that. A team like that, you can't believe they can make it 3 howlers like that in a row.
Not at this level of sailing, and and there is just absolutely no room for error. One small mistake and that's it, game over.
Well, this is 1 and 2 in the race that we're looking at now. 1 on the right, Groupama overall race. The deposed leaders there on the left. What have they both got left in their shot lockers as they head into the race proper tomorrow for the import race? That will be the UE Ras import race, and this is explaining the situation in the numbers. The numbers telling the story. Well, just 3 points between first and second, between Groupama and Telefonica. And then Puma Ocean Racing, Camper with Emirates Team New Zealand, they really suffered both in the import and in that last leg, coming in 5th, pipped at the post by Telefonica. So it's just all to fight for, and we've enjoyed having the Pro-Am race today. And Mark Cavell, thanks for being alongside us here. You've enjoyed it today?
Absolutely. The sun shone and the wind blew. What more can we ask for?
Not a lot really, but what we will get tomorrow is the added frisson of excitement that comes when it actually does really matter. Tomorrow, the UE Ras import race here in Portugal. We're at the very, very sharp end of the Volvo Ocean race, and we're really looking forward to bringing you all the action from here in Portugal tomorrow. So, import race tomorrow, Volvo Ocean race 2011-2012. We're getting very near the deciding point. It's all to fight for here. Good afternoon for now.